My name is Roberto Parker with Innovative Sports Training. It is time for another Health Detective Talk. Today I'm going to talk about paralysis from too much analysis. Often I'm asked the question, Roberto, there is so much information out there about health, about fitness, about improving my athletic performance. It's very, very confusing. Which direction should I go? Should I fast? Should I eat more protein? Should I eat more fat? Should I go with the ketosis route, going with the keto diet? Should I go a paleo diet? You know me, I don't like the term diet now. Should I do more of weightlifting? Should I do less weightlifting? Should I do more cardiovascular training? There's all kinds of information out there, guys. Now you get information about stem cell therapy. So there's a lot of information out there. And by the way, I've done Health Detective video blogs on practically every topic I just mentioned there. So go back and look at the history on my blog. But I want to try to encapsulate all these ideas and components and entities. I'm going to try to do this in less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to try. I could talk about this stuff for an hour, guys, because I love talking about it. Today is going to be more of a common sense approach as to what your health should be. How to really become a health detective. Now you can become your own health detective, but it takes a lot of sometimes time and research and watching a lot of video blogs like I do myself. I have mentors in my life that I respect, that I look up to, that I respect their information in the background. Just like you should have a mentor in your life. It can be someone who can help you with your finances, someone who can help you with raising your family, someone who is a spiritual mentor, and you should have a mentor in your life who's a physical fitness person or a sports performance person who can help you get over that hump in terms of improving your health and your athletic performance. I would like to consider myself one of those types of people. Now, let's get into the meat of the topic here. Paralysis from analysis. There's a lot of information overload today, guys, on food, on exercise, on supplements, on fasting, on how much protein, how much fat, how much carbs, on cardio training, strength training, circuit training, yoga, Pilates. There's a lot of information. You have to learn how to sort through the garbage and find out what's going to work best for you. As I've said before, human beings are bioadaptable. And that bioadaptability is based on our age, is based on our training background, is based on how we live our life, the kind of food you eat, the kind of rest you're getting, is based on that. It's even based on your emotional and motivational state of mind. So you keep those things in mind. All those must be taken into consideration when you're wanting to find out how much food, how much exercise. Should I take supplements? Should I fast? How often should I fast? How much protein, fat, carbs? More cardio, more strength, more circuit training, more yoga, more Pilates, stretching, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Those are the components that you have to separate out. Once again, getting back to having a mentor. That's where I come in. I help people sort through this information and we come up with a program that is specific for you. Because what works for person A is not going to work for person B, and what works for person B may not work for person C, D, E, and F. Okay? You cannot have a cookie cutter program, one plan fits all. It doesn't work that way with your body. Your body is not like a calculator. Your body is not necessarily a chemistry set that applies to everybody. It's got to be based on bio differences. Bioadaptability, and that's going to vary from person to person. Now, moving right along here. There are scientific methods also to determine these. We can look at your metabolic type, and there's a way to do that with an evaluation. We can look at biological aging. You probably heard of telomere testing. Okay, you can do those, telomere labs. You can do it with by determining your protein, fat, carbohydrate type. Now that is hard to do in terms of a lab, But what you can do, there's an online site called metabolictyping.com, I believe it is. And I've used it in the past myself to work with other clients, and it will determine based on your lifestyle, do you lean more towards a protein type, fat type, or carbohydrate type. You can also look at, there's also lab work you can do for determining your food sensitivity. Some people are sensitive to certain types of foods where your immune system becomes overreactive, which causes autoimmune disorders. You can also look at food allergies. Now, there's a difference between food allergies and food sensitivity. I won't go into that in detail right now, but there is a big difference there. Lab work involving cortisol levels. I've talked about that a lot. And that's mainly with a saliva spit test. What you do, you spit in a tube, 4 separate tubes, 4 times a day. Morning, midday, late afternoon, early evening, and before you go to bed at night. And that will determine what your cortisol circadian rhythms are doing throughout the day. Cortisol should be high in the morning and low in the evening. We can also, via lab work, look at gut bacteria. That is a big time determining factor on the strength of your immune system, because 90% of your immune system is located within the small intestines of the body. That is a huge test in terms of determining the strength of your immune system. And your immune system is helping you keep you alive in terms of fighting off diseases. We can look at the thyroid, which also is a lab. We look at T3, we look at T4 primarily, and we look at thyroid stimulating hormones, which is THS. So we can look at those things and determine how well your metabolism is responding. But I'm just going to tell you, the cortisol is highly linked to the thyroid. If your cortisol is acting up, and chances are also, if your cortisol is acting up, your gut bacteria is thrown off and your thyroid is thrown off. So cortisol is a huge one, for me anyway. Now, these scientific ways are going to cost you a little bit of money, because it's going to be a financial investment. Because anybody who's been to the doctor knows that the more labs they run, the more it costs you when you walk out the door. So, like with anything else, if you come to me and say, Roberto, I want to run this lab, this lab, it's going to cost you a little bit of money to do that. And labs are good, but labs are primarily a snapshot of time right then and there. Lab work will not determine the total picture. It helps in terms of part of the equation, but it's not all of the equation. Now, moving right along, if you don't want to go the lab route, there are more non-scientific ways of determining what your health should be, what your performance should be, and the potential of your health and your performance. Once again, we're still talking about, now we're taking away the paralysis from analysis. Let's take away the paralysis aspect of it and just focus on the analysis, which will help you determine the type of training program, the type of food you're going to eat. But getting back to this, the non-scientific way, the more instinctual way, is by trial and error, which is good. It's going to take you a long time to determine that sometimes. It might take you several months. It might take you a couple of years. But probably not a couple of years. I'm going to say at least a year in some cases. But by trial and error, you can determine what's working for you in terms of your activity, exercise, and type of food you need to consume, and whether you should be fasting and how long you should fast. We look at lifestyle evaluations. Now, what I do there, I just give you a written form that's very, very detailed, and we will determine your lifestyle. It asks you some personal questions about how many bowel movements are you having a day. I know that sounds kind of personal, but that's important, believe it or not, if you're relative to gut bacteria. How well do you sleep? How often do you exercise? What types of exercise do you do? Do you have food cravings? What type of food do you crave? When you eat dinner, do you feel full? Do you journal foods and activity? And based upon your journaling with your foods and activity, how do you feel with certain foods and certain types of exercise and certain activities? So there's a lot of lifestyle evaluative things we can do. Now, non-scientific versus scientific takes a lot more time, but in the long run, we get really more valuable information that's more just a snapshot. Is your smack and check? I did a topic on that probably almost a year ago. That's sleep, mood, energy, food cravings, and hunger. Is your smack and check? And the last thing I talk about, and I hope we determine, is how much exercise in terms of cycling, exercising more, exercising less. Food cycles, feeding cycles, eating more, eating less. There's a way to toggle between these four components. Exercise more, exercise less, eat more, eat less. You can toggle these where we don't go into what we call metabolic compensation. I'll give you one example. If you exercise more and you eat less, that will burn calories. Yes, you'll probably lose weight, but you don't want to stay there forever because the body will adapt or begin to shut down its progress. So now you want to flip the switch there. You want to eat less, exercise less, which is more of a detoxification component. Now there's other ways to do it too. We can toggle. Now how long you stay in each toggle depends once again on your age, your background, your motivational level, your biochemistry. There's a lot of things that factor into this, guys. So getting back to what I said earlier in this discussion, that is why you want a mentor in your life to help you sort through this stuff, because most people really don't know this stuff in detail. A lot of you probably think you know it, but you really don't know it. Guys, I've been doing this stuff for over 35 years, and I'm still learning myself how the body works. I probably know more than most people, but I'm still learning every day. I read books, I get on the internet, I do a lot of research. I'm kind of a nerd that way. There's many things about the human body that has yet to be determined, yet to be learned. That is why you need a mentor in your life, once again, to help you get through and sort through the garbage and the stuff that doesn't apply, so you don't waste your time and your money. Guys, give me a call, 816-405-7703. I do lifestyle evaluations, hormonal evaluations, sports performance evaluations, fitness evaluations. I do lab work, scientific lab work, and I do non-scientific type of evaluations. I also train people here one-on-one. I conduct a few classes now and then also, but I do more one-on-one nowadays than I do classes. So, give me a call, 816-405-7703. My email is rwpsports@yahoo.com. I'll be more than happy to work with you and members of your family, or your athletic team, or your group, or your PTA club, or your church group, whatever the case may be. I'll even come and do a lecture for you guys. If you want to work with me from out of town, if you're long distance, we can work via the internet virtually. No problem. So give me a call. Thanks for listening. Take care and God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.